Going to call the meeting to order. And before I take roll call, I do want to share that Commissioner Green is attending virtual class. So, Brooke, before we begin, I need to ask if there's anybody over the age of 18 in the room with you.
No, I am alone. Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. I forgot one more. Thank you, Commissioner Green. Okay. I'm going to take the roll call of commissioners in attendance, and then we will introduce a new commissioner. So, Commissioner Cahill.
Here.
Commissioner Doyle. Absent. Commissioner Elkins.
Here.
Commissioner Engbar.
Here.
Commissioner Goldberg. Here. Commissioner Green.
Here.
Commissioner McKenzie. Here. Commissioner Bowles. Here. Commissioner Riley.
Here.
Here. Commissioner Taylor. Here. And I am here as well. So before we get into announcements for public appearances, I want to just acknowledge and appreciate that we have a new commissioner representing Petaluma. So I thought we would take 1 or 2 minutes. Commissioner Riley, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, sharing a little bit of your background, and then we'll go around the room and introduce yourselves as well. Okay?
Thank you so much, Chair Walkers. Hello, everybody. My name is Robin Riley. I have been born and raised in the North Bay and have been living in Petaluma for about 10 years now. I come out of the tech industry, but really my specialty is community organizing in for-profit, nonprofit settings. I've also served in Petaluma on the Technology Advisory Committee and the Plan Advisory Committee, causing all sorts of good trouble. And I am very grateful to Branch Manager Diana Spalding for recruiting me to the Library Advisory Board several years ago. I was at one of the counter protests supporting the Drag Story Hour that was happening one day. And I brought a little, because I'm also with Petaluma Pride, and I brought a little table and was doing some signups and brought some donuts and things for people who were there. And I think Diana saw like, this is a person who's organized and maybe has something that they can offer. So I joined the Library Advisory Board 3 years ago and had been its chair for 2 years before coming here. And a number of the commissioners may remember I was here in October presenting about the Library Advisory Board and the work we've been doing to breathe some life into the thing and make it a more useful body. I am really honored to be here. It's a joy to join you all. I will say it's a bit bittersweet knowing that Commissioner Heckenridge was not able to complete his term. Very grateful for his many years of service, and happy to come here and bring my own flavor and perspective to the team.
Well done. All right, so maybe just a brief around the room, your name, what area you're representing, and one fun thing about you. So Commissioner Poles, why don't you start?
One fun thing about me, I'm Tina Poles and I represent Katati, and I'm a good friend of Jen, so I know you. Okay. Sorry, that was a little inside there. A fun thing about me, I'm a really big mushroomer. I spend a lot of time hunting in the woods. Yeah, secret life. There you go.
My name is Eve Goldberg and I represent the county of, Sonoma County. I came on the commission in 3 years ago. So, yeah. And the fun thing about me is I can't get the internet on my computer. Lisa, Bridget, please. Thank you. Welcome, Robin.
Oh, again, I'm Barbara McKenzie. I represent Rohnert Park on the Library Commission, 3 terms worth. That's trying to think of something that's more fun than what Eve said about herself. Shouldn't be too hard. I very passionate about libraries, also about the arts, and I am very pleased to be a board member of the Green Music Center and participate in a lot of the performing arts. I won't say I don't do them, but I like to watch them. So anyway, thank you all. Glad you're here. Thanks,
Hi, Robin. Good to say hello again. I'm Andy Elkins. I'm the commissioner from the city of Healdsburg. I lived in San Francisco for 43 years and then moved up to Hillsburg in 2018. I've served in this role since then. Fun fact, Barbara, thank you for serving on the board of the Green Music Center. I saw your name on the program when we were there last week to see Chris Teal. Unbelievable. Phenomenal musician, virtuoso on many instruments, but Thursday night he was playing the mandolin and included some selections from an album he recently recorded of Bach sonatas and partitas on mandolin. Fantastic.
That was incredible.
You were there also? Okay. Welcome to the commission.
Hello, I'm Sarah Legas. I am the chair of the Library Commission, and I also represent the city of Santa Rosa and the county of Sonoma split. And I know I asked you all for something fun and was racking my brain for it. And the only thing fun that I do nowadays is drive my daughter to gymnastics competitions. So I can tell you all about the hot spots of Central California, Northern California, in the inside of lots of gyms. So that's all I do for fun anymore.
Wonderful to see you again. I was hoping that it was going to be you after your presentation in October. I'm glad to see you here. I'm Kimberly Taylor. I'm the commissioner from Sonoma. You are taking my place as the newest commissioner, so thank you for that. Something about me, I run role-playing games for kids as my life thing. So that's great.
I'm Dave Cahill. I represent the city of Santa Rosa, finishing my second 4-year term. And fun things about me are I used to be a lawyer, survived, and I like cats, cat person. We're getting on.
Oh, sure. Erica Defoe, library director. One thing about me, I don't know if I have any fun anymore. No, I was just telling you. You like shoes? I do. I like shoes and handbags, and Jaylene has my number. She knows exactly what I like.
All right, thank you. So welcome. We're glad to have you. Ooh, and then thank you. Commissioner Green, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, welcome, Robin. I'm so happy to see you from far away. I represent Cloverdale, my adopted hometown of the last 40 years, and I have lived one block from the Cloverdale branch for those 40 years, and I love representing Cloverdale on the commission.
And hi, Robin. My name is Fred Engbarth, and I represent the city of Sebastopol. I've been up in Sonoma County since 1971. And during that time, I've worked at Sonoma State when it was Granola U and ran my own law practice. And in the community, been a firefighter, an EMT, and a instructor for the fire department. And welcome to the commission and look forward to working with you.
All right, any announcements? Okay. Are there any public comments on items that are not agendized? Seeing none, we're going to move into closed session. So y'all get to skedaddle. Be gone. Bye-bye. We are reconvening into open session. There was no reportable action taken in closed session. We have no action items by resolution. We have no presentations. So we're moving on to library reports. The library director's report 8.1.1. Dr. Cabot.
So I want to talk a little bit about advocacy. As you all know, I spent last week in Washington, D.C. on behalf of the American Library Association and the California Library Association. Deborah Doyle joined me at our advocacy efforts for the National Library Legislative Day. I had meetings with Congressman Thompson's office, Senator Padilla and Senator Schiff's office, as well as two congresspeople who represent Southern California, Congressman Dave Min and Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs. It was a very fruitful exercise. Deborah is still there. She is joining State Librarian Greg Lucas. They will be doing advocacy this week as part of the Chief Officers of State Library Agencies, otherwise known as TOSLA. But it was a wonderful, and I hope that if we do this next year, that someone else can join me in our advocacy. So that's my report. I also want to introduce our new communications director, Petula Burks. Petula, would you like to come up here and say something?
Okay. Like Erica said, my name is Petula Burke, and I'm really excited to be here. I've been in communications for 30 years. And I had my best experience job this past weekend. I just sort of talked to you all about it. I was at brunch over at Windsor, and sitting next to a couple, and I was asked to like for New York, and actually like Sonoma County Library. And so we're speaking my wife's language. It's a conversation about her love and their love for the library system. So it felt like I'm in the right place at the right time. And so thank you for allowing me to join you all and to get to
Commissioner Cole?
I'm sorry, I'm being very bad. Was there any big like takeaways from the DC that you were like, interesting?
Oh, interesting. So we had talking points. So ALA prepared talking points. The three things that we were asking for were funding for the Library Services and Technology Act, which is through the Institute for Museum and Library Services. We were asking for funding for Innovative Approaches to Literacy, which is a program that is for schools and school libraries. And we were asking for them to support the Prison Libraries Act.
You mean you didn't ask them to stop bombing Iran?
Well, that was before all that happened. But I also did, to be fair, I also, so the Congress people are working on their community-based projects, and this is really what we call earmarks. So we will be submitting community-based projects through Congressman Thompson's office for Roseland, and we are submitting a project for Occidental with Congressman Huffman's office. Now, no guarantees. It's highly unlikely we won't get any funding, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Are we asking questions about the director's report at this point? Okay. I saw on page 11 of the report that, the library got $50,000 from the Carnegie Foundation and, in celebration of the 250th anniversary. And that money is going to be spent on collections of the 5 Carnegie, descended libraries. Fair enough. Wondering about plans for other programming in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration.
We don't have any at this point so far, but we are working with the Carnegie Foundation on what we might be doing. But we also know that it's also the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence. So we may be doing something, along those lines.
That's what I tried to make that connection, but I obviously didn't. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Director Tebow. We'll do the budget and finance reports under item 11.2. So do we have any library advisory boards, Sonoma County Library Foundation, or Friends of the Library here? Seeing none, we're going to move on to our consent calendar. These matters include routine financial and administrative actions that may be approved by a consensus. Any commission member or members of the public may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and have it placed with the action items. The commission will approve the minutes of the prior meetings in summary form. Commissioner Ingvar?
Yes, I would like to remove items 10.3, 10.4, and 10.5.
Okay, we will be removing items 10.3, 10.4, 10.5. So the consent calendar now will include 10.1, the minutes from February 4th, 10.2, the library committee meeting schedule, and 10.6, the Sonoma Valley Library Advisory Board appointment of Lori Hines.
I'll move approval of items 10.1, 10.2, and 10.6.
A second.
First by Commissioner Elkin and a second by Commissioner Cahill. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingvar,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor. Yes, and I'll make it unanimous. Okay, moving on to action items. We're going to start with action item 10.3, safe library use policy. Are there any questions or comments for the item? Commissioner Ingvar?
Yeah, I have a suggestion that I'd like to present to the body is given the length of and some of the weight of some of the items further on in the action items, whether we could table the discussions on 10.3, 4, and 5 until our next meeting.
Can you provide a little bit more detail on a rationale for that?
I expect I have a significant number of questions on 10.3 and actually all 3 of them, 10.2, 3, 4, and 5.
Well, they're agendized today, so let's get into it then.
All right.
So you want to start with 10.3?
Sure.
Oh.
What I'd like to ask is, give me a second to find everything. On the policy, it talks about vulnerable adults as members that are going to receive the protection under the policy, and I'm wondering how it is that we are going to go about determining who a vulnerable adult is.
Good evening, Library Commission. Sarah Van Public Services Division Manager. Thank you for the opportunity to present revisions to our 2 state library use policies tonight. These are very strong policies that were originally approved by the Commission in May of 2023. We worked on them extensively in advance with a team of branch leaders from some of our incident locations And some of the aspects that we adjusted at that time were back to the punitive measures into thinking about safety. So one of the aspects that came up from real life experience was the situation that could have been who was unable to care for them, but to support them and asked staff for like, you push my wheelchair, can you help me use the restroom and other things that staff are not able to do. And so we included information in that policy at that time, and it hasn't changed in the revision you see tonight. The next revision is about the format. And so there is a definition in the policy of the vulnerable adult, and also the transparent information to make it clear that care. You can assist referrals or connecting someone to resources. Or checking people at the door to see whether they fit this definition, but if a situation were to occur, we would follow great action steps in accordance with the policy. And so the goal here is to provide a really clear way for staff to know what to do in a situation like that.
Any other questions?
As a follow-up to that, I'm wondering, who is it that's going to make those determinations? Are we saying that the librarian or the staff members at the branch are going to make it, or are we going to be asking the person to provide medical information in support of the fact that they might be a vulnerable adult?
And we aren't asking people to identify that, whether self-disclosing or staff to try to make that determination. However, if there's a safety incident in the library and it appears that someone, an adult, needs care or supervision that is not available, then we would take that into account when trying to handle the safety situation. For example, reaching out to 911 resources to help care for the person.
Well,
To give another example, we have also had situations where a caregiver of a vulnerable adult left the person at the library without care, and the person needed assistance. And the policy is also to help the caregiver know that we're not able to step into that role. They aren't there with their adult. However, again, we're not trying to ascertain someone's abilities when they enter the library. Would only be if we identify there's an issue.
okay, then with that, since there's disciplinary sanctions that are leveled through this for people who, might harass or intimidate or otherwise disrupt a vulnerable person's use of the library, how is it that they're supposed to know they're interacting with a vulnerable person when they're being charged with having interfered with a vulnerable person?
That's not a safety issue that's specifically called out. However, if any person in our library is harassing or using abusive language or threatening behavior towards any member of the public, any member of staff, that would be treated consistently with the policy.
Okay, thank you. Then with the vulnerable adult, if their custodial person, let's say that they have one, maybe they won't, is not present when they're in the library and there's an incident involving them being harassed, and that person who may be the one who committed the act waits for them outside of the library to continue their behavior. What do we do with protecting the vulnerable adult in those circumstances?
Well, Commissioner, I'm sorry, before you can answer, Sarah, I would hesitate to go down the path of hypotheticals. I would hesitate to put any of that on record. So I think if we have some concrete questions to ask about enforcement of the library policy or questions about the way the policy is written, that would be appropriate, but I would not want to put the library staff up to answer hypothetical questions right now.
Well, I'm trying to determine both for the adult that might be there, but then also for the staff, how they're supposed to, with this policy, decide when to act and how to act. And I think that's part of what the policy is. If we're creating a policy, we're adding a responsibility on our staff to sort this stuff out and be able to make effective decisions with it. And I'm looking for that guidance in the document, and I really don't see it.
We're going to go Director Tebow, Commissioner Poles, and then Commissioner Elkins. Director Tebow?
Just to reiterate what Sarah has said, like it's really based upon a safety or security incident. So if something happens, if there is, as she said, somebody harassing or being abusive, verbally assaulting an employee or another patron, it's at that time that the staff is assessing the situation. And I would say that our staff has sufficient experience with security incidents to be able to determine whether somebody is, is vulnerable. They have sufficient experience with this to make that determination. In the particular case that Sarah alluded to, the adult disclosed that they needed, this assistance. And so that was how the determination was made. And I think to require that staff have to, it's just they have this experience, and we trust that they can make an assessment in the situation.
Commissioner Poles?
I'll just add procedurally, if I may, that this is our public facing policy, but it's also supported by staff training, staff procedures, scenarios, and again, the content of this policy is not new. We've been using it for several years, and for the most part, it's working really well. It's really consistent and predictable, I would say. And so I hope that, kind of spells out a little more about the context of how we use this. In addition, we also always have administrators on call, and so if staff are not sure what to do, especially in a situation that might be unusual or stressful, we're available to advise at any time. If there's an issue right now, you might see Barbara or I step out of the library or out of this meeting in order to assist staff with figuring out what's the safest way to resolve a particular situation.
Sorry, Commissioner Engelbart, it's Commissioner Poles and then Commissioner Elkins, and then we'll come back to you. Commissioner Poles?
And I think it's been said by Erica, but I think it's important that you're looking at behavior. You don't need to assess whether someone's vulnerable as they come in the library. Someone could be vulnerable and use the library completely appropriately, and you'd never know. It is behavior that brings up issues around this, and it seems very, very clear to me. That doesn't need to be spelled out here. I think, again, you're in the moment, and I see staff all the time assessing whether, is this just someone needs to be removed, or is it a different response? And I don't think we need to spell it out any more than it is spelled out.
Commissioner Elkins?
I'm struggling to understand why we're having this conversation. This policy's been in effect since 2023. From staff perspective, it's working well. It's understood by our trained and capable library teams. The changes to the policy are minor changes to make it consistent in format and approach. The substance, particularly with regard to vulnerable patrons, is not changing in any way. I would like to see us move on. May I move that we approve?
Yes.
Motion on the table, and I have a second from Commissioner Poles. Is there any public comments? Being none, I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill?
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Engelbart?
No.
Commissioner Goldberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Yes.
Commissioner Poles?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Okay, Moving on to item 10.4, safety issues and recommended suspension length policy. Are there any questions, Commissioner Kenzie?
Yeah, I just had a quick note on here. I was wondering how records are kept. If somebody is on a, 1 week suspension and how we notify all the branches, you know. There are probably some people that don't even have library cards. I'm just wondering how we're able to really implement these, suspensions to 1 month and 6 months and so forth.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's an excellent question. We use an online incident reporting tool that is available for all staff to use and view, and those incidents are reviewed regularly by administration, and we have procedures that explain the different types of suspensions and how those are issued. For suspensions of 1 month or longer, we communicate those to across the branches, and for suspensions of 6 months or longer, we also communicate those to our operations management team. On our SharePoint, we have a list of suspended persons, and it includes links to the relevant incidents as well as information about where to find photos of suspended persons. As you point out, we may not know somebody's name, but because we have security cameras, we're nearly always able to get a photo from that security footage, and that has really helped us identify when the same safety issue is occurring from the same person at multiple locations, so that we can review that and take the appropriate steps in accordance with this policy.
Thank you. Any other questions? Is there any motion? Motion to approve? All right, well, motion by Commissioner Goldberg and a second by Commissioner Cahill. Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbar.
No.
Commissioner Goldberg. Yes. Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie. Yes. Commissioner Poole.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor. Yes. And I'm a yes as well. Moving on to item 10.5, social media policy. Are there any questions?
Yes, I know that we are working under a process where we're providing, that the director is able to make, minor changes. One of the changes in this policy is the removal of the whole in whole, almost completely out of it, is the ability of a person to file an appeal about questioning whether or not their use of social media is inappropriate under our guidelines. And I'm wondering why that that section was removed.
So we always have our attorneys review our policies when we make these kinds of revisions. And it was actually our attorney who pointed out that this was not legally required. And it was really based upon our attorney's recommendation. The other thing I want to note is that the Library Commission and its bylaws includes what kinds of library director decisions can be appealed. And so it would be up to the commission if it wanted to change that, either through the policy or in its own bylaws.
Any other questions? Is there a motion? Commissioner Elkins?
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Green has seconded. Any public comments? Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbar.
No.
Commissioner Goldberg. Yes. Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie. Yes. Commissioner Poles.
Yeah.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor. Yes. And I'm a yes as well. Okay, moving on to action items by motion, number 11. 11.1, herd patron fees. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Dara? Anything, none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
No, second?
Second.
Okay, we've got Commissioner Elkins seconding. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill?
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbar?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie. Yes. Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Item 11.2, mid-year review for fiscal year 25-26 and proposed budget adjustments. Myrtle? No, Myrtle?
She's working. There she is. Yes, herself.
Hello, sorry, I was looking for my pen. Good evening. Every year, there is a mid-year review to look forward, for this next 6 months within the fiscal year. See how we are doing in terms of meeting our budget, approved budget target for the end of the year, June 30th, 2026. And, just in a nutshell, revenues are on a healthy track and sales tax is on a healthy track to meet the approved budget. Property tax is also healthy and seeing actually an increase to exceed the approved budget. And expenditures are within budget. Staff is making recommendations for the following budget adjustments at this time. Increasing property tax revenue by $1,368,246. Increasing interest revenue by $433,617. And on the expenditure side, increasing salary and benefits by $1,339,021. And using the contingency fund of $836,265. I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, may I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Elkins,
Second.
Commissioner Goldberg,
Third.
any public comments? Okay, roll call vote, Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbar,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Poles,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I will make it unanimous. Item 11.3, proposed additional discretionary payments policy to pay down the pension unfunded accrued liability. Marna, do you have anything to add?
Yes. Well, I'd like to say that, it was a pleasure working, over the past year with the finance committee to, come to this point to propose a policy for making additional discretionary payments. The committee had 3 goals. One is to pay down the unfunded accrued liability related to our pension within 15 years. Identify a sustainable payment amount that can be covered by operating revenue and allowing still to continue to fund ongoing services and operation. And to include an option to use year-end savings from salaries and benefits to increase the ADP by an additional amount. And the proposed $250,000 additional discretionary payment meets these goals. So having said that, we're here to make a proposal with a new policy to establish a payment plan for the UAL.
Any questions? Commissioner McKenzie?
Just a couple of comments. I'd like to say that, the library had 2 significant unfunded liabilities. The retiree health plan, which was OPEB, and then the catching up on the CalPERS unfunded liability. And fortunately, we've had a policy for OPEB for a number of years after we got the for sales tax, and a little bit of history here for Robin maybe. And the finance committee has worked very hard with our CFO and our director also to have a policy that met the goals that our CFO just spelled out. And so I'd like to give extra kudos to to Commissioner Elkine, who did excellent extra pushing us on this direction, you know, a lot of good ideas. It wasn't a simple thing. We met with the CalPERS people, we met with an independent contractor to manage it. Anyway, I appreciate the staff involvement in this. This is, I consider really major achievement, a major policy. And we will be, if approved, paying down this liability at $250,000 a year, for about 15 years. We think it'll come out about then. And, we'll have these two, you know, two major liabilities, you know, like under control with plans and policies. So anyway, just shout out to all involved. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments?
Can I make a comment?
You can.
First of all, thank you very much, Barbara. This has been a concern that I've had since I joined the commission in 2018. And it's really about assuring that the benefits that are promised to our staff are theirs when they retire. I think we know that most people don't seek work in library world because they're, you know, necessarily looking to make a lot of money. They have other goals, but they're entitled to what they've earned. And so this has been a concern. We've done a lot of work on this under Barbara's leadership. And I don't want to take us down a religious track, but in my tradition, there's a saying, it's not up to you to finish the task, but you are not free to avoid it. And I feel like that's what we're doing here. It won't be done while this commission is in place, but we're setting in motion all we need to make sure that our staff is provided for. So I'm very happy to have this, and I urge your approval. Thank you.
You should make the motion, Andy.
May I move to approve?
And I'll second.
Oh, yeah, Commissioner Elkin with the first and Commissioner McKenzie with the second. Any public comments? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie, Commissioner Poles,
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I will make it unanimous. Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving on to item 11.4, SEIU classification study, job description revision recommendations. Do we have a presentation? Okay. Are there any commission questions or comments? Commissioner Taylor, and then we'll go to Commissioner Goldberg, and then Commissioner Elkind, and then Commissioner McKenzie.
I had a question about librarian 2 and 3, both mentioned folding in duties from other jobs, curator and education initiative specialist respectively. Oh, I'm so sorry. Question about librarian 2 and 3. About both of them look like they're folding in duties from other jobs, so it's curator and education initiative specialist respectively. Those two are no longer listed as the jobs qualified. And I guess my concern is this duties to jobs without increasing pay?
So historically, and by the way, thank you for having me this evening. So historically, I've been here for 9 years, and when I first came to the library, those classifications were actually part of the duties of the librarian 2 and 3 respectively. And so they were having the library was having a difficult time finding a curator position. It was just, well, let me segue here, they were looking for a wine librarian, and there would be things in the internet, oh, who's hiring a cheese librarian? So it's really difficult to fill that position. And so the library thought that if they separated it out to a wine librarian, then they could find somebody, and they couldn't. So then they decided to call it curator, because a wine is a specialized collection, and that's how we hired that. But then they found that in this classification study, it would be easier to put that back into the librarian too. So then the education initiative specialist was also one that they felt would be better to separate it out in 2017. So that was the case, but then when negotiating with the union, it was guided through for a process that they wanted to put it back into the L3. So that's how that came about.
So if I could also just add on, so the wine library is a special collection. We have other special collections like the Petaluma History Room, History and Genealogy, and the archives, and all of those positions are also librarian too. So it's just consistent with the way we treat our other special collections.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have Commissioner Goldberg, followed by Elkind and McKenzie.
I'm glad staff members are here to talk because I read the letters today and, I'm concerned about the reclassification, not reclassification, the cessation of needing a master's degree to be a librarian one. And, I just want to put out my concern about that. I knew nothing of the issue, but the letters were, very interesting.
Thank you. I'd like to follow up on that. I was also concerned by the letters that came in about with regard to librarian one. And I had two questions that I was hoping you could address. A number of the letters proposed or assumed a reason or motivation for this, but it's not clear to me why the library is making this change or proposing this change, and I'd like to hear from you. The second thing, and I found this troubling, and I don't report to have any expertise in the specifics of the MLIS degree, but I understand that it generally takes about 2 years to earn that degree. And I'll just say my background's in workplace learning and development. And so I'm not opposed on principle to saying, gee, maybe in addition, instead of requiring a specific formal education achievement, there's an alternate path to capability and competency. I'm open to that, but I'm struggling to understand how 2 years of on-the-job experience could be considered equivalent to 2 years of a focused degree program. So those are the two questions I have.
I could take it, but since you're a
But,
librarian and experienced librarian, I'll let her take it and then I can fill in some of the gaps.
So first of all, this recommendation to change the minimum qualifications for the librarian one was actually part of the staffing study that we completed in 2022. At that time, it was the Joint Union and Library Administration Staffing Study. So at that time, the union agreed with this recommendation. And really the intent behind it is to recognize the work of existing library staff who are performing at a very high level, who are in certain classifications such as library associate or senior library associate, that really are, basically already performing the majority of the work, but don't have the degree. So it really is designed for equity for internal library staff. We recognize that when we recruit for librarian positions, that we get 50 applications for every vacancy, and that the likelihood of an outside candidate getting a position over an internal candidate is very, very low. So it's really designed for internal promotional opportunities for our senior library associates and library associates who are interested in the role of librarian one. I also want to note that in order to move to librarian two, they have to have the MLIS. So it's currently the way our MOU is written is that after 2 years in the librarian one classification, they're automatically moved to librarian two. So the MOU was changed to basically say that you have to have the MLIS to move to the librarian two. So it's really just kind of an incentive for those really amazing staff that don't have the degree, but have lots of experience working in the library. And if there's anything that Camille would like to add, or Dara would like to add.
Please follow up on the question, because that sounds fine to me. But what about 2 years? I mean, it would be one thing to say, that somebody who had been performing at a high level in their current job and had, 6 years or more of experience. But to say that with 2 years of experience, they will have the same degree of expertise that they'd have from getting an MLS degree feels like it downplays the benefits of the degree process, not the paper itself, but the learning that led up to it.
So when Erica refers to somebody being a library associate or a senior library associate in the library, they already have to have a bachelor's degree. And for a library associate, it's 2 years of library specific experience. For a senior library associate, it's a bachelor's and 4 years of library experience. So they already come here with that experience. And then they want to be, and then those are the internal staff. So they would already have that level of library specific experience. So currently to be a librarian, well, you just have to have not just, when you have to have the MLIS. So what we're trying to say is that it's a really unlikely possibility that somebody from the outside would be able to just compete and get hired with those qualifications. And also internally, it wouldn't be an automatic promotion opportunity. You still have to apply and be a competitive promotional opportunity. And the other thing that I'd like to say too is that when we met with the union and negotiated their proposal was to either have the MLIS, it was one of the proposals, and then or also to have a bachelor's degree and then 2 years of specific library associate experience. So it was really qualifying that they had to have this queue, and all outside agencies don't have an actual position to qualify for it. That would be even more difficult.
So I guess what I'm thinking, Suzanne, is that maybe we bring this back next month. And we change the language so that it is clear that it has to be the equivalent of Sonoma County Libraries, library associate or senior library associate qualifications. Would that resolve your concern, Commissioner Engbar?
No,
We're still on Commissioner Elkins. And then we're going to, so Commissioner Elkins, please respond to Director Cabot, and then we've got Commissioner McKenzie, Commissioner Engbarth, Commissioner Goldberg, Commissioner Cahill.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, but I appreciate you articulating the desire to support internal staff who have already demonstrated their capability. This doesn't distinguish between internal staff who are on a promotion track and outside hiring. And I don't purport to have any expertise in how to write these things up, but I would personally feel better if we were to indicate that if we're hiring somebody from the outside for a librarian 1 position, we're still going to require an MLIS degree. And that if we're going to make internal promotion opportunities available, we be a little more specific about the position that they would be coming from and any additional work that would be required to ensure that they were performing at the same level. So I realize that's a complicated ask that doesn't quite fit within the language. So I'm sorry to gum up the works, but the way it's presented here causes me some concern, and I'm guessing from the folks who are sitting behind you that it causes them concern as well.
Okay, Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes, I remember this discussion from a couple of years ago, and I remember especially Commissioner Heavenridge sitting here going, what? Not require an MLIS? And then that just, when I saw this big pile of job descriptions in here, I went right to Library 1 to see if anything had happened. And I have to say, I believe the Library 1 librarian, we've made this point over and over, as professional position requiring professional training. And I just was going to bring this up tonight anyway. And then, as Eve said, we started seeing a lot of these comments coming in this afternoon, which I found very persuasive. And I appreciate Commissioner Elkine's question about, where's this coming from? I hope that it's not too late
to stop and think about this, because I think that we want to promote people's ambitions, people's education, people's achievements, people's career paths. But a librarian is a professional position that I think needs a professional librarian degree. That's what I think. And so anyway, I'm not sure where we're going with all this tonight. I know we're not done commenting, but I hope we can pull this one aside and have a greater discussion about it. Thank you.
Commissioner Engberg?
Yeah, I have two questions. One is that the report refers to the report, or that the work that was done by Sloan Mackay and on the classification study. I haven't seen a copy of that classification study or their report. Is that something that we could have to look at?
Well, the issue that they did the work for the report, they did do all of this initial work, but what happened was is that it was set aside because we went into labor negotiations, so we had to redo some of the work with the classifications, and we ended up meeting with the union, and ultimately, honestly, they wanted to renegotiate a lot of the work that was done, so labor and management met and redid a lot of the work that they had done. So we agreed on comparators. We agreed on a lot of the initial work that was done. We didn't redo the job description questionnaires. We took the initial work that they had done, and then we met and negotiated over the finalized classification.
Well,
So
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, we didn't redo the initial parts of the study, but the final drafts that library and the union met over those.
But I'm feeling like the commission and the library paid for a classification study, and if there was a classification study that was done, I would like to see what that study recommended, and just to be able to see what their assessment was, like what the markets analysis showed as far as how we were doing in our salary schedules doing in comparison to other libraries in the market area. Items like that it's referred to, but we don't have a copy of it, and I'd like to see a copy of it. I believe we were entitled to that
The classification jobs and then the compensation is the salary survey, and those items were set and negotiated during negotiations, and so that part of it is settled with relation to the union.
I for one would like a copy of a document when it's referred to in a resolution that we're asked to vote on, so I know what I'm voting on. And if the document is referred to, I'd like to have a copy of it to be able to read. Those of you who know me, to a lot of people's consternation, I read those things. And I would like to have that as part of the packet. The other thing is that this debate about the librarian alternative classifications, it's not new to librarians, but it is an important one because it's actually, to me, it covers a couple things. One of them is certainly our classification plan and how the union and the library works with that. But the other part of it is that that's more, substantial, I think, in a lot of ways, is the fact that this is a profession, and it's much like the Trump administration's move on nursing, saying the nurses were not professional and not eligible for a classification. I mean, if you're a librarian and a professional librarian, you've earned that title. Somebody who's training has not. For example, if you go to a hospital and a doctor's treating you, they have to identify themselves as the doctor. But if it's a resident or an intern that's treating you, they identify themselves as a resident or an intern, so you could see it on their job description. You see it on their badges, and I think that that we need to work with this, and I don't know that a meeting on this classification study, the commission and the schedule is the place for us to be doing it. I think to have a meeting, have staff prepare a report, have it presented to the commission and have a discussion at the commission about whether we're going to move to a alternative policy on qualifications for the librarian position. I think that's important rather than having it all verbal, hodgepodge. I think we need to spend the time working on it. And I'm not prepared to vote in favor of this classification schedule unless we have some sort of a plan to do that.
Okay, we've got Commissioner Goldberg and then Commissioner Cahill.
Ready to hear the staff make their comments, looking forward to it. I just want to say in terms of rewarding competency and hard work and knowledge that staff get by working, it seems like there's other ways to reward that versus saying you're a librarian even though you don't have a master's. Seems like there's other paths to reward other than that.
Commissioner Cahill?
Yeah, if we do pull this item, would like to hear public comment from those who have come here expecting action. For those who want to wait, of course, they'll have a second shot next meeting. And also, it might be a good time for our traditional 5-minute break.
Or something?
Well, I guess I would like to know what the commission desires to do aside from the public comment. Are we going to listen to public comment and the commission is going to make a recommendation or direct us to do something? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Do you
Yes.
need 5 minutes?
Commissioner Green has a hand raised.
Oh, Commissioner Green? Thank you.
No, I just wanted to say that I would like to listen to public comment and consider this further.
Do y'all need 5 minutes though? Okay. Okay, any other comments from the commission or questions?
Yeah, one question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to accept the other applications and pull this one out, or is that not an option?
Can we modify it?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's approve everything else except this one and pull it out if we can do it. Oh, sorry.
If you, I just wanted to let you know that there are still two others that were not completed, so this item will have to be continued, but there would be a lot of, just wanted to, consider that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, any other commission comments or questions? Yes, Commissioner Riley.
I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared to move forward with this tonight in any form. I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say. I will say that I found it interesting in some of the public comments that were submitted in writing, that there are library systems that have adopted language along these lines or changes along these lines. And one of the messages that I'm hearing, and I would like to substantiate this for myself, is that it's not so much a lowering of the standards, but looking for an equivalency that's already there, gained on the job. And I'll just point to privilege as with my personal perspective. I'm a college dropout because I couldn't afford it. I didn't have the support to proceed and complete any form of degree. And yet I, like say, I'm deeply expert in a number of areas. And so I'm very sympathetic to a move like this. But it does seem like there's some concerns that maybe we can address. So generally, if we can address those concerns, this seems quite reasonable to me.
All right, any other questions or comments from the commission? Okay, we'll take public comment. You all would like to line up behind the microphone? I don't think, I didn't see anyone say yes to that.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Is that all right?
And Commissioner Legas,
Yeah.
what,
How many folks do we have who'd like to make public comment today? 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
7, do we have 7?
Yes, I'm ready to hear it.
Okay, we have 7, so we'll do 3 minutes each. Okay. Go ahead.
Library Commissioners. I'm here today to speak to you about the possible reclassification of the Library 1 position. As a community member, a patron, and a supervising librarian 3 with a master's in library and information science from UCLA, I urge you to reconsider before you remove the MLIS requirement for the Librarian 1 position. I will start by giving some context about the MLIS degree itself. When attending school full-time, the MLIS degree is at minimum a 2-year master's degree program. In this graduate level degree, students are not only expected, but required to meet rigorous academic expectations, including, but not limited to completing 200+ pages of dense academic reading each week, writing multiple 20+ page papers per quarter or semester, engaging in meaningful and critical weekly class discussions, and regularly conducting group and solo presentations. This culminates in either a written master's portfolio project with an oral defense or a written master's thesis with an oral defense. These hours of diligent study result in qualified professionals who can engage critically with the core theory and ethics of librarianship. Being a librarian is not simply sitting at a desk or handling books. Professional librarianship requires a deeper understanding of the history of the profession, how knowledge and information is developed and stored, and how systems and infrastructures affect access to knowledge. In other words, on-the-job training cannot and likely never will be a substitute for this graduate level degree. Additionally, I would like to highlight that we are in an era of prevalent and increasing use of artificial intelligence. This makes it even more crucial to continue hiring librarians with the MLIS degree. Recent MLIS graduates have the latest and most up-to-date research from universities regarding the impacts of AI on libraries, including how to combat AI's increasing spread of misinformation. Our community and our profession need access to these trained professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, can you turn it so I can see it? So I can see it?
Yes.
Can you please state your name?
Good evening, I'm John Kostner in Guilford, but I work at Dale Regional Library, and I'm a little bit hoarse, excuse me. Honorable Library Commissioners, recent legislative efforts in Arkansas, Montana, Louisiana, and Texas have moved to remove the long-standing requirement that public library directors hold a master's degree from a program accredited by the American Library Association, allowing relevant work experience to qualify someone instead of the formal credentials. While similar decisions about loosening educational requirements have surfaced elsewhere, this development highlights a broader trend toward de-emphasizing formal credentials in leadership and professional roles that have traditionally required specialized training. Should we take this decision to that level at Sonoma County Library? I raise that as a question for you, since this item on your agenda opens the door to loosening the requirements currently in place at a time when library schools are graduating more graduates than ever, and a good number do not find jobs in the field with a library degree. Using the same title for the paraprofessional roles as for fully credentialed professionals undermines both expertise and public trust. Professional titles such as librarian, lawyer, dentist, or doctor are not merely job labels. They are signify specific educational pathways, licensing requirements, ethical obligations, and defined scopes of practice. A library associate plays an important role in our library system, but the title librarian carries expectations of graduate level preparation and a mastery of complex information science principles. Similarly, a paralegal is not a lawyer, a dental hygienist is not a dentist, and a physician assistant is not a physician. Respect for expertise and professionalism requires that titles truthfully reflect training, scope of practice, and accountability for the benefit of all of us, both practitioners and the public they serve. I hope you will consider talking to all of us, sorry, as I stumble on my throat here. And not let a few sentences in our agenda packet set the course for SCL's future. Otherwise, we could be headed down a slippery slope. This regressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please state your name?
My name is Tara Hazen. I'm the children's librarian at Windsor Regional Library.
So librarian is a name that's applied to a professional, similar to a doctor or a lawyer or engineer. And with that comes the assumption from the public that we're professionals and experts, and that means that there's trust associated with that. There's even not anyone who can call themselves a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. They have to prove their competency. The same should be true for librarians. This job description implies that 2 years of experience working in the library is enough to be a qualified librarian. That might be true for some people, but it might not be true for other people. That's why we have this bar that's set, this minimum requirement that you have to reach in order to call yourself a librarian. I know that that creates a barrier for some people. The degree is a lot of time and it's a lot of money. My brother's an engineer. That requires a degree for most people, but there is a path to become an engineer without getting a degree. It requires experience, a mentorship, professional development, a professional interview with a panel, followed by an 8-hour exam. And we're talking 2 years of desk experience equivalency to call yourself a librarian. I also come from you from the school system, and I would like you to consider what's happened in the school system. Because when the state no longer required professional librarians in the school system, we disappeared. Just to share some facts, we rank last in the nation. There is one qualified librarian for every 9,667 students. And yet most people that you ask if they have a school library at all will say that there's a librarian in there. And it's not a librarian, it's an underpaid paraprofessional lacking support and budget. And so if we turn librarian ones into that, you slowly shrink the profession down. How can diluting our profession create equity? We need to create equity by taking actions that help people meet our professional bar. Please reconsider this. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please state your name?
My name's Brenda Farley, and mostly I'm gonna read another librarian statement, but I would first remind you that when we many of us advocated for the library sales tax, the thing we advocated for was to keep qualified librarians. This is a statement from Michelle Santamaria. Good evening, commissioners. As a bilingual Mexican-American librarian, I would like to address the move not require MLIS degrees for librarian 1 positions at FBL. I want you to consider a different path that involves providing scholarships, coverage of tuition fees, mentorship and job support and experience, staff that would like to pursue librarianship. Otherwise, I fear that this move is masked in the assumption that people of color can't or will not pursue a master's degree. In doing so, you are breaking some barriers, but you are actually doing the opposite. This is called performative allyship, and it is insulting. I also fear that ultimately this will lead to the exploitation of labor within our staffing wages. I learned so much from my time in my master's program. It is where I was able to learn more about the history and ethics of our profession with other students from different backgrounds and experiences. Everything I learned in that program was foundational to what I do now as a librarian. I was able to work at the Oakland Public Library while I pursued my online degree at San Jose State University, and had some financial support via scholarships created by the Friends of the Oakland Library. Please consider a more respectful pathway for individuals who want to pursue librarianship. Thank you for your time tonight.
Can you please state your name?
Hi, my name is Kelly Carrasco, and I'm here to read a statement on behalf of my colleague, Kate Deatter. Dear Commissioners, I'm writing to share context and perspective on why maintaining the graduate degree MLIS requirement for our librarian positions is essential as we evaluate staffing models and future workforce needs. As our library evolves to meet the increasingly complex expectations of our community, the expertise required of professional librarians has grown significantly. Today's librarians manage digital resources, teach information and media literacy, navigate data privacy issues, support equitable access, and lead research-based, community-focused initiatives. These are not simply technical tasks, they are professional competencies developed through accredited graduate programs designed specifically for this work. The MLIS provides a rigorous foundation in information organization, metadata standards, instructional design, ethics, accessibility, compliance, technology systems, and community engagement. This preparation ensures that our services remain equitable, legally sound, forward-thinking, and aligned with national and state professional standards. Importantly, retaining the MLIS requirement also supports equitable hiring practices. It ensures that every professional librarian enters the field with a shared level of preparation, ethical grounding, and professional training. Removing the requirement does not create equity. It lowers professional expectations rather than building meaningful pathways that help people rise into them. Our goal should be to bring people up, not to bring the profession down. Hiring non-MLIS staff into traditionally MLIS level roles can unintentionally contribute to wage stagnation for existing professional staff, difficulty justifying pay differences based on training and expertise, and increased tension between classifications, roles, and expectations. Over time, this harms staff members' morale and undermines organizational equity. There are also practical and financial considerations. If new hires lack MLIS level preparation, the library may need to invest in extensive onboarding, ongoing professional development, and corrective training in areas such as ethics, metadata, digital systems, instructional design, patron privacy law, intellectual freedom, accessibility compliance, and ethical research practices. The cost of filling these gaps often exceeds what is saved by lowering qualifications. Without this degree requirement, we risk inconsistent practices, diminished service quality, and reduced public trust. We may also face challenges recruiting and retaining highly qualified staff who bring the leadership stability and specialized expertise our community depends on. Our patrons rely on us not only as stewards of information, but as educators, technologists.
Thank you. Your 3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
Mara. I'm a library associate at the Sebastopol Library. So I was hired about 4 years ago by the library system. And I started out in reference at the Central Santa Rosa Library. I then was hired at the Rankin Valley Library. I was also a temporary senior library associate at the Forestville Library while someone was out on medical leave. And now I'm currently on the reference team at the Sebastopol Library as a library associate. Every single day, I am in a position of assisting with reference and with most everything that goes into being a librarian. So today, as being here, I just want to represent that voice of other people in my position who have a lot of experience. I worked in a previous library system and have over 10 years of experience working in libraries, both as a children's librarian doing preschool story times for over 3 years. And I also managed a library branch in Asheville, North Carolina. That was about as busy as the Sebastopol Library where I work now, a very, very active community library. In my positions there, I was promoted with my master's degree, but I do not have an MILS. So I just hello everyone, I work for the library system and I do not have an MILS. However, every single day, I am referred to as a librarian because everything I do in the library, from collection development to answering questions about our digital resources, and basically every single resource that you can use from the library, I'm expected to know how to do and to serve the public. So I just want to be for you to see my face and know that there's other people like me out there who are living paycheck to paycheck, getting paid a lot less and doing a lot of this work every single day, and also love the work that we do. I love doing this work and I would not want it taken away from me. I love doing collection development. But I would love an opportunity to move up in my position, to make an equitable pay to live in Sonoma County, which is very challenging to do right now on what I make in my current position. And that's mostly what I want to say, at least at this moment, and just know that there's other people like me in a similar position within our system. I would love to continue this discussion, and I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else for public comments? Please state your name.
My name is Connie. Connie Martins. I'm speaking to the idea of equity and equity concerns. And I just want to say that one does not achieve equity by removing the goal. You achieve equity by removing the barriers. And for this position, you want to provide excellent service. Having the MLIS gives candidates the education and the craft profession. And while there are most likely many excellent candidates for a non-MLS library position, they will not come to the library with having gone through the many discussions, practice, and guidance that one receives during the degree process. Various barriers can include time and money. Both of these can be mitigated for excellent candidates through a sponsored program while employed with an expected date for completion. And those employees bring the latest and greatest ideas and the tools that they're learning. So they're bringing things back every day to their library positions here. In instances like that, everyone wins. Public is assured of competent, knowledgeable, well-prepared library staff. And deprofessionalizing the position is a mighty step backwards. As Tara mentioned, take a look at what it looks like in schools. It's sad. It's just sad. In Sonoma County and across the nation. Sonoma County Library brings an incredible wealth of expertise to its communities. So let's not remove the goal. Let's just remove the barriers. Thank you.
Is there any other comments? Public comments?
Hello, commissioners. My name is Brianna Herod, and I just got off the desk right around the corner. So thank you for still being here talking. I do want to say I heard some of the comments that Barbara and Fred and Andy said, or Commissioner Mackenzie Elkind and Ingvar, sorry. But anyway, I really appreciate your already looking into this, and I'm excited by what I've already heard. So I believe, and I was part of the union team when the class and compensation study was going on, I do not believe there was ever any kind of negotiation at that time to take it away. And so I feel that some of this wording is actually, it's been carried over since 2023. But when the union went to what they thought negotiated, they were told that that had already been decided. I don't think, let me see, I missed a little bit. And I don't have to say everything I wrote because I wrote it before I heard all of you. So what the union wanted, and I think it's been brought up, is that somebody working towards their degree could then become a librarian before they had completed their degree. I have, you know, if we're talking about ourselves, I have 15 to 20 years of being a manager. I have been with the library for 9 years. I am still waiting to be a manager at the library. That all of that experience I had before coming to a library does not count. Even though I did 4 years as an associate, 2 years in CERT,
And now I've been a librarian for 3 years. I'm going on my 4th year. After the completion of the 4th year, you can be a manager. So are they going to make these same changes for managers? No, that's not what they're doing. And just like Connie said, they're moving the goalposts. It's not helping anyone to do this. Now, I understand if somebody has a master's in an adjacent thing, like Laura or Monica Samantha, I could totally see making an exception if you already have a master's. That to me makes sense. But then I want to see equity for anybody that has been a manager in public, settings for 15 or 20 years should be able to move up also. It doesn't make any sense to move the goalposts for some things and not others. So, and then my last thing is that we are in a time where we have legislation in the House of Representatives for book banning. It's not the time to water down the profession. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, we do have an action item on the table, so is there a motion or a revised motion you would like to make? Commissioner Goldberg.
If we can, I would make a motion to accept this whole proposal if we can pull out this one item of library one and bring that one item back another time.
So you're moving to approve SEIU classification study job description revision recommendations with the removal of the library one position. Okay, that's the motion on the table.
Second.
Commissioner Elkin seconds. Any discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Oh, Commissioner Bowles?
Would we bring back the discussion about just the library one?
Yeah.
Next meeting, is that I want to know where this is gonna go, not just me taking off.
Yeah, so as Suzanne indicated, we have 2 other classifications that we're also still working on, so we would be bringing those 2 plus this one back with revisions.
Roll call, Commissioner Cahill.
The handlers.
Thank you, Commissioner Einbar.
Yes, I will vote in favor of the motion. However, I would like to get a copy of that classification report before I do so. So before I participate in the next meeting. So could we arrange that? And if we do, and that's worked into the motion, I would vote in favor of the motion right now as outlined.
Thank you for the request, Commissioner Einbar. All right, we're doing a roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill?
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Einbar?
No.
Commissioner Goldberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Yes.
Commissioner Poles?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor? Yes. And I'm a yes as well. All right, moving on to item number 11.5, unrepresented classification study job description revision recommendation. Do we have any questions or comments from the commissioners? Okay, seeing none, do we have any public comment? Somebody standing up? Standing up to leave. Okay, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve?
Thank you, Commissioner Elkin. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner McKenzie. Roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill?
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Ingbar?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie? Yes. Commissioner Poles?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor? Yes. And I'll make it unanimous. Item number 11.6, revised Sonoma County Library 2026 salary schedule for employees represented by the Service Employees International Union. 11.6, a revised Sonoma County Library 2026 salary schedule for employees represented by Service Employees International Union. Do we have any commissioner questions or comments? Okay, any public comments?
Move approval.
Okay. Sorry. Commissioner McKenzie moves approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Elkins seconds. Roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbar.
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes.
Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I'll make it unanimous. Moving on to item 11.7, revised Sonoma County Library 2026 salaries. I did that one. No, I didn't. Revised Sonoma County Library 2026 salary schedule for unrepresented employees. Do we have any commissioner questions or comments? Any public comments? Okay, we have a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Commissioner McKenzie moved, Commissioner Goldberg second, and roll call vote. Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Greenberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
McKenzie.
Yes.
Commissioner Poles.
Yeah.
Commissioner Riley.
Yeah.
Commissioner Taylor. Yes. Make it unanimous. Item 11.8, acquisition of a bookmobile. Do we have any commissioner questions or comments? Commissioner Goldberg, and then Commissioner McKenzie. And then Commissioner.
Yeah, I had a question about that. I think I remember some meetings back, staff reported that the bookmobile may not be that good of an idea in terms of financially, and it was breaking down, and there were issues, and I mean, I think it's great if we can get a second one, but I thought there were some issues and questions that time if you wanted to or not.
Like, good evening. I mean, like motor vehicles, there are issues with bookmobiles that come up from time to time and we've addressed them. But with this vehicle, I am making sure that those issues that we have with the current vehicle are addressed in the new vehicle. So we're ready to go.
So I just wanna say, we're not purchasing the same vehicle. It is a completely different vehicle from a completely different vendor. So that is one of the reasons why we want to go with this particular vendor.
Right, and we did, myself and my supervising outreach librarian did extensive research on the type of vehicle that we wanted and how it would fit our needs. So we're really excited about this vehicle.
Thank you, Commissioner McKenzie, and then we've got Commissioner Elkins and then Commissioner Poles.
Yes, as it was mentioned, we had some other discussion in the past, though. We didn't really need a big, full-blown bibliobus, but more like a, I don't know, van or something. I guess the thinking has changed. I thought this vehicle is incredibly expensive. Just one comment. I'm on the side of supporting, all the rural areas and everybody that does get services. So, I am supportive of that. When we did the bibliobus, and number one, are we calling this a bibliobus or are we calling that the bus or this the mobile?
I think that's still in conversation.
Okay.
Right now, I'm referring to it as a bookmobile, because our new communications director and I will be having conversations about it.
Okay.
So we'll see.
But you see it serving in the same way with the same capabilities, basically.
Right. I actually have a plan to change the current vehicle to be more of a youth services focused vehicle, to do more of the local, like New Santa Rosa, Petaluma area. There's pockets that really need a little extra love and services. So that vehicle will be a little bit more youth services focused, and this vehicle, which is bigger, not giant, bigger. You still need a regular Class B driver's license to drive it. Will be replacing our community, this vehicle, the current bibliobus, as our community stock vehicle.
So just a couple of quick follow-up questions. I know the when and how delivered for the last one was a nightmare to get putting off and off and off. You could fill us in on that, and then wondering about the additional staffing that'll be required for operating this.
Well, as of right now, I think we're going to be using extra help librarians as well as our supervising outreach services librarian and our librarian one. And we have an extra help library specialist. I have let our leadership know that we could always use additional staff, but it depends on the budget. We are understanding of that, but we can run this vehicle with our current staffing.
I didn't quite get the answer on the timing on it, when it's gonna be delivered.
The timing, it's as soon as you guys, if you guys approve this, I can get us on the list to start getting it built out probably at the end of this week, if not early next week, and it would be 12 to 18 months from there. And just so that you guys are aware, it's not really that, it doesn't take that long to make the vehicle and outfit it and everything. It's just that when we are purchasing these specialized library vehicles from very few people, very few places that we can purchase them from, all of other libraries are also purchasing from there. So we have to get in line, and that is what takes the longest.
Commissioner Elkins?
I was very excited to see this item because as I was telling Commissioner Dave Cahill on the way over here, when I was growing up, every week my mom went to the bookmobile, and that was my first connection with the library. So very excited about it. I had this, I guess, some of the same concerns about technical issues. I think with the Bibliobus, when it was great to go out with Brianna Herod on the Bibliobus, but there were problems with the air conditioning virtually all the time. And you feel confident with this provider that we're not going to have that?
Yes, I mean, in every meeting that I had with this provider, I, hammered down that was one of the most important things to me. So there's going to be 2 air conditioners on board for this vehicle, and there's also going to be a heat resistant coating on the outside of the vehicle that is going to help with the sunlight heating up the vehicle.
Okay, and obviously the Bibliobus that we have now is not really like the bookmobile of my childhood, which was a real bus, but could you just describe how this vehicle will differ from what we have now, or do you have a picture or something?
I don't have a picture right now, but it is a Ford F-550. So it's similar to our delivery trucks that we have right now. If you've ever been to the so it's bigger, it's boxy. And then we can have, it's big enough so that I can put 2 entrances in there and then fit it. We're gonna have a lift, the same as we do with this current vehicle. There's gonna be more space for library materials in this vehicle. We're gonna get a book drop in this vehicle, which now we just use little bins to put our returns in. The staff is going to have a microwave and a mini fridge so that they can keep cold water in. You would think that's not important, but it is very important.
No, I think it is important.
So it's definitely outfitted a little bit better for those further open stuff. And then we're also hoping that we're gonna go a little bit further because we have those extra amenities for our staff.
And the Wi-Fi capability, can you just talk about that as well?
Yeah, so we're gonna do Starlink, like we do with this current vehicle, and our IT staff, which is amazing. They always have a failover and start fails. With all technology, there's always something that pops up, but we're fairly prepared for that happen. And then if both of those go down, we usually use our phone as hotspots or just in the internet. Our work phone. So there's a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. The goal is always to provide services for our community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, we've got Commissioner Poles and then Commissioner Engelbart.
I also think another way to think about getting a second bus and why it's important, besides all the obvious things of reaching out and being able to dedicate our bus for a more specific audience, is as we are doing library closing, for remodeling, which is 4 or 5, sometimes 3-4 months, and we're less likely to do annexing. I think the bookmobile at a closed library becomes more and more important, that is where that would be. So I think not having a second bus when you're also not going to annex libraries out in the same way that we have necessarily done in the past. I'm just thinking of this library that's about to, so I think so when you look at the cost, you also outweigh it. You also need to push it against, we're not paying for when we remodel to annex a library, and that could buy a lot of mobile buses, you know what I mean? So I think you need to look at that cost analysis. And then we also get to keep this when we're done with all our remodeling. So I think that's one way to look at the costs in that context.
We will be at Lincoln Valley for the entirety of the motion.
Commissioner Engberg.
Yes, I'd like to say in response to Andy's request, and I assume the rest of the commission, but the website for the manufacturer, the person we're buying it from, and the company that makes the chassis, Tesco, they have a very good website that shows models of their products on them, and they're both, from what I could tell, really highly regarded in the industry as a supplier for medical buses, emergency buses, things like that for our community. So I would like to move that we accept the purchase and go forth.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, love this. There's clearly a need for this. I know that we have a number of underserved areas, including when we have to close down libraries, the physical branches for a while. And I've seen how popular the Bibliobus is at community events. And I've been a community event organizer who says, can we get the Bibliobus? And the answer is frequently no, because it's so busy and in demand. So thrilled that this proposal is before us. Thank you for your work on it. I have two concerns, and they are not at all going to block me from supporting this motion, but I do want to raise them because I think they're important for us to consider. And I'm not sure there are options from this manufacturer to address them. So this is wishful thinking, but I think it's important to get this on the record. First of all, this looks like an internal combustion engine car. I think generally I'm liking what I'm seeing among many municipal bodies where they're beginning to invest in electric vehicles. That's just the right thing to do and the future-proof thing to do. If there were an option, I would love that, but I'm not seeing that among the spec sheet that you have here, and I don't want to delay this important process, maybe for the third one someday. I also just want to highlight that I'm glad to hear that there are backup options to Starlink. I'm actually really concerned about relying on Starlink at all. Has a lot to do with its owner and its that individual's unreliability and frankly toxicity to democracy and just acting in arbitrary and capricious manners. So I would love to see maybe some exploration, again, not to block this, but what can we do to get away from Starlink? I think that's just the wrong thing to be putting public money into and relying on. And yes, maybe EV is an option for the third one, but again, that will not block me moving forward here.
And we absolutely considered EV. We looked at it, and ultimately we did decide to go with a diesel vehicle because of safety and the long distances that we're driving. Most of our small rural roads, it would be terrible for staff to get stuck up there for whatever reason. That is why with it, but we definitely would have loved to. Yes.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Commissioner Taylor.
I have a question. This is mostly a curiosity question. It's the power supply for the Bibliobus. I noticed there were two options. There's the quiet diesel engine and there's the bronze battery pack. And super often go to battery pack. It is significantly more expensive. I assume, given you've been fairly conservative about the rest of it where you can, that there's a reason for that. Just curious.
So the diesel generator is very, given that, I did talk to the vendor about this as well. Because he was like, well, it's the quietest one on the market. And it's like, how quiet is quiet? And he did say, you're gonna hear it. We avoid turning on our generator as much as possible just because it's stinky, it's loud. So we wanted to go with a battery option because it's these days the batteries last a lot longer. And we're not having to yell at each other with the patrons over the generator. So that's a big reason why that.
Understandable. Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cahill moves and Commissioner Commissioner Engberg moved and Commissioner Cahill seconded. Roll call vote, Commissioner Cahill,
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie. Yes. Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor. Yeah. And I'll make it unanimous. Moving on to item number 11.9, summer lunch at the library, grant 2026. Do we have any questions or comments from the commissioners?
Great, I move to approve it. Oh, does Fred have a question?
Fred, did you have a question?
I just was making a motion to accept it.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second.
Public comment?
Any comment? Thank you. Seeing none, moving on, Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbar.
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes.
Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I'll make it unanimous. Item 11.10, 0.75 admin specialist, grant funded. Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner McKenzie.
Yes, I'd like to hear a little bit more about what this person does. It's a 9-week summer program and going from half-time to 3/4 times. I'm sure they do more than grant reporting for all the rest of the year, but if I could hear a little bit more about what the expanded duties are.
So we'll actually start working on the grant in February. Honestly, a little before that, because the grants starts February 1st, and we have to start looking at applications in October and getting all of that together. So in between that, there is making sure that the budget is correct, or we need to adjust the budget, because there's always budget adjustments. And then once we're done with the grant writing and the grant submission and the budget acceptance, then comes planning for the program. As you guys may or may not have seen, we just posted the teen intern job. And so our admin specialist has a lot to do with helping our library administrator organize that. Once that happens and they are involved in organizing all of our branches, then comes the hiring and the training of the teen interns. And that is done largely with our library administrator and the teen librarians that are supervising the teen interns. But the organization behind it, a lot of it is the admin specialists. And then comes the program itself. So the program itself is those 9 weeks. Jessica Rasmussen is actually our admin specialist for this position, and I frequently check on her because you can see how exhausted our library administrator and our admin specialist is during this time, because there's just so much going on. And then after that, you would think it's done, but then they have to reconcile the grant and do narratives and collect those narratives from the teams, and just making sure that all the numbers fit. That is part of this person's job. And then by the time that's over, it's time to apply for the grant again. So it really is a year-long position. We would love to have the position full time, but we're still doing it at different levels. And they are also a great support with that. So anytime staff needs something, Jessica and Laura, someone is always able to get them.
I can see why there'd be a lot of time in the year that's like too much to do. But I still kind of feels like part of the year, you can plan and so forth. It just seemed like doesn't seem like a 3/4 time job all year round unless they do other things. Like you say, if they jump in and help in other kinds of ways, but are they strictly working on the grant in the program all year long?
She does jump in and help with team services. And we also give her extra help hours as needed to help with team services. So it's mostly grant, because the grant requires her to work on the grant while they're paying her.
That's what I wondered.
But she will help as needed.
Okay.
So she's always just
Any other questions or comments? Motion? Commissioner Cahill moved, Commissioner Poole seconded, roll call vote, Commissioner Cahill.
Yes.
Commissioner Elkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Engbar.
Yes.
Commissioner Goldberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Poles.
Yes.
Commissioner Riley,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
And I'll make it unanimous. Okay, moving into item 12, discussion, 12.1, subsidiary body teleconferencing for finance committee.
You know, this is
Commissioner Cahill?
my item.
Yeah.
Last month, we had a comprehensive review of the new Brown Act requirements. Presently, the Finance Committee operates with regard to the public exactly as the Commission acts. It's open to the public for public comment, reported. Everything we do, the Finance Committee does. I have a question that is maybe overly simple, but need either the Commission nor the Finance Committee have to do anything going forward to continue exactly the same as we're doing it now. Question. Don't see Jeff Mitchell here, but
We
maybe.
still have Ian.
We should, Ian.
I'm here. That was a little difficult to hear. Could you repeat it just one more time?
Yeah.
Do you need to do anything different?
Yes, it wasn't clear to me from the language of the Brown Act with regard to subsidiary bodies of the commission, whether or not either the Library Commission itself or the Finance Committee has to pass any kind of resolution in order for the Finance Committee to enable it to continue to do exactly what it's doing now. Public recordings made, public comment, all of that. Do we have to do anything to continue our present process for the Finance Committee?
No. In order to,
That's fine.
assuming that everything that you're doing now is compliant, which I assume that it is because I'm sure it's been vetted by Jeff, the answer is no. The subsidiary body exception is new. And so if you wanted to avail yourself of this new exception, which was part of SB 707, then yes, the commission would need to make a resolution which passes by a majority, making certain findings, but it did not disturb all the other provisions that have already been in place, the traditional teleconferencing exceptions. So no, if
No,
you can
the
continue to
fine
operate
answer.
as you have been
Enough.
without.
Okay, you're on you're being billed by the hour, right? That's enough, thanks.
I want to clarify, is Commissioner Cahill asking if the Finance Committee can meet virtually? Is that what you're asking?
Nope.
No. We're requesting that the Finance Committee be able to meet virtually.
Disgusting, I have no idea.
Okay, well, that was a lovely discussion. So we're gonna move on to item number 13, Commissioner report. I did not submit, I apologize, Lisa, thank you for hunting me down, and I still didn't get it to you. Put it on the list. Anyone have anything to add to 13.1.2 for their own reports? Commissioner Goldberg.
Does this include the liaison reports?
No, that's not.
Sorry.
Hold on. Okay, seeing nothing, we'll move on to committee and liaison reports. 13.2.1, appointment of Barbara Simmons to the Measure Y Oversight Committee. Simmons? Thank you. Okay. Anything to add? No. Great. Item number 13.2.2, Finance Committee report, Committee Chair Barbara McKenzie. We don't have a report.
Didn't get the minutes in, but I did want to say one more time how pleased the Finance Committee is with its achievement of the policy. That's always been most of our time on the last meeting, and I want to thank all the Finance Committee participants for their work on this, and of course, the director and CFO, because it's a major achievement. So that's mostly what we did last week. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13.2.3, Sonoma County Historic Records Commission meeting. Commissioner Goldberg, do you have anything?
Barbara, last time you asked what, and I couldn't answer, and now I can. What was the significance or ramifications of the fact that there's been more money donated to individual branches through the foundation? And Craig reported at the last meeting, but I didn't put it in the notes, the significance. And the significance is that now the foundation has the information that there's actually community support for their own community libraries financially. And so this can be used, this information in countywide future fundraising. Craig, does that say it? Okay, does that make sense?
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have no old or new business. Any agenda items for future commission meetings?
The classification study.
Thank you. Yes, I believe they're bringing it back. And then our date and time of the next meeting is Wednesday, April 8th at 6 o'clock, right here at Roanoke Park Cotati Regional Library. Welcome, Robin. You had the longest meeting of the year so far. Good job. All right, we are adjourned.